Poison Paradise, Hollywood Bound. I don't know. The name's confusing at this point. So, I hope that they're all done having their hootenanny, because there's big shenanigans going down in the city of Los Angeles. But first, let's check in with Kevin, see if he's got any announcements, introduce the crew, then we'll break into the show. All right, here we go.
And in fact, here we go. Look at that. Look at us. Here we are, ready for another one. We're going to see if we can't get season 2 moving this week. We'll see what happens. We're still kind of parked at the end of season 1. Anyway, for the moment, our poisoned paradise is still poisoned and it's still paradise, but we are, in fact, in the long run, Hollywood bound. But first, the people. The people that are making this happen, the co-creators of this tale with me. Starting right next to me, playing Baptiste, we have Ryan from Roll for Initiative with the fingers. And then at the far end, from the cold wastes of northern Alberta, Hannah playing Ellie for us. On the bottom row, from about as far as cold and waste as you can get, as far as I understand, she's where it's all warm and wonderful. Sarah playing Alice for us.
I put shorts on and went outside for a walk today. It was amazing.
That's just rude.
Lucky
You're farther north in Virginia than I am.
It was 60 degrees here today.
As Americans say.
Incredible. I walked to the bookstore in my shorts.
Yeah, and then let's guess. You went outside today and you broke a sweat, right?
It was pretty warm, and it was National Pancake Day, so we got to go to IHOP. So that was great.
Oh, nice, very good. So if you guys were where he was this morning, you got to see Jet, also known as Sky, eat pancakes in public. And then back in the frozen north, we also have Lucius, played by Lessamax. And now that the introductions are out of the way, we do have some announcements. First of all, we are raising money for a very good cause. The fine folks over at Extra Life. We are raising some money for them, and the money is going to them. We got a nice start going. We're almost a quarter away to where we want to go, but we'd love to see that bar filled up so we can send that off to a very worthy cause. And on a slightly more personal cause, as many of us as is possible are going to get to Gen Con this year. And that is going to be a very expensive program because we are all over North America. So we are asking your help. If you would be so kind, just scan down there on Twitch below the panel and you will see an opportunity to help us offset some of that cost so we can go there and actually not have to live under a bridge and eat, street food for 3 days, because that's what you do anyway, right? So help us with that if you possibly can. And with that, and a very bad rat imitation, we...
You know what it was, so it can't be that bad.
To be fair...
it was a very good... It was just a very bad rat.
To be fair, the street food during Gen Con is freaking amazing.
I'll bet you it is. Yes. I just ran out of stuff to say and I didn't know where else to go. So
the food trucks. I live at the food trucks.
So there you go. Donate money to our food truck fund, food truck at Gen Con, down in the channels below. And with that, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I'm handing it back to you, Marty.
I hope this works.
And now, let's go down a new rabbit hole where we find our poison paradise party, Hollywood bound.
Well, it worked!
We're back.
It worked. It worked. It was magnificent. It was wonderful. The sound worked. The video worked. Marty, you're a genius. Thank you. Oh, that was wonderful.
I just consulted my past self. It was fine.
I just went and found a version of you that knew how to do it. I like that idea. Wow.
I like that. Usually past Ryan is an asshole and future
Yeah.
Ryan hates him.
No, it's same with past Sarah.
Well, Ryan is not a 4-dimensional being, so.
You don't know my life.
Have you seen that?
Don't you tell me how many dimensions I have.
Did you just call me fat?
I called you beautiful.
I hate all of this.
So
I love it.
let's squeeze if we can back into the game at hand, shall we? It's been a day. To give you the short version of it, Jet got gifts from Raven, 2 of them, although there's always a price. Baptiste had what can only be called an attack of testosterone-itis, or a sudden 30ness has descended upon him and caused him to wrestle and such. Miss Alice admitted to herself who she really is and wrote a very apologetic letter to a young man she offended many years ago. And Lucius proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that he's a lightweight. 3 drinks and he was licking floor. It was all over in a hurry for our friend the Undertaker. And he had to be carried upstairs to bed.
It was 3.5. Let's be honest.
The half you spilled on the way down. I'm sorry, I was there. And that only leaves Ellie, who wasn't there for any of that, because when Jet came back to the bar, which I kind of got the feeling you thought he might not be doing, he said to you, she wants to talk to you. And you knew he meant Raven. And he gestured out into the woods where he had just come from. And he walked into the bar. So you guys have already picked up your chips for today. Get those on your sheet. Let's go down this different rabbit hole. And Miss Ellie, you staring into the dark forest. Raven would like to speak with you.
All right, I'm just gonna, I don't know how to find a mystic, other dimensional being, so I'm just gonna kind of wander around the woods a bit. Absolutely,
and you start to work your way into the darkness, and it doesn't take long. The forest here is thick. This is primeval. The town isn't here anymore. You're 5 feet outside the door of the bar. That's where the forest starts. So it's not long before you can't see any light behind you, and you are utterly lost and trusting that this bird woman will help you. And you hear a little rustle behind you, and you turn and look, and she's standing there in her human form with her long black hair, hard to see in the dark, except that her the clothing she's wearing is sort of pale brown leather with lots of stitching and embroidery on it. She's got her head tilted to one side in that weird way that she does. It reminds you that she's a raven. And she says to you, "There's so much hate in you."
I was told you wanted to speak with me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can help.
How?
I can help you make them pay. I can show you where they are. I can get you to them. All you have to do is whatever needs to be done once you're there.
I don't know what you're talking about.
There are some people, at least one, that you would like very much to be dead. There's no point in lying, Ellie. I can see right through you.
What if that were true. Where are they? What do you know?
I want to make you a deal. I'll make sure you safely get to them. And you protect Jet.
Of course, I'll protect him.
I've broken him horribly. And it's what needs to happen for him to become. But right now, he is like glass.
What did you do?
I'm giving him everything he ever wanted. And it's breaking everything he ever was.
Yes, I'll protect him.
And I'll make sure, when the time is right, that the moment to strike is yours.
How do you know about this?
You're in my world now.
Can you give me anything now?
Go west with the rest of them. That's where the one that in your head is known as that bastard is?
All right. But I expect you to hold your end.
When I'm done, he will be one of the most powerful beings you have ever laid eyes on. But only if he survives. And that's not my choice. That's his. Please help him.
Don't hurt him.
That's not an option. He wants this. And he knows there's a price.
You know, sometimes when you want something, you think you'll pay the price until you find out what it is. He's a good person.
And in many ways, you are wiser than he is. There are choices he has made that you would not have made. Which is why I'm asking you to protect him. Protect him from me.
Gladly.
There's a light behind you. You can follow it back. Thank you.
She's not gonna say anything. She's just gonna turn and start following the light back.
And all you hear behind you is just set of wings off into the distance. And there is this little, like a single firefly that just leads you back through the trees until you can see the bar again. Where your friends are, but also where Charlie is.
Yep.
Back through the door of the bar.
Gonna just go through there. Why not? Talk to other dimensional creature and now go talk to my murder uncle. Why not?
To be fair, I was waiting out front.
Yep, I was going to say, as you get back, thinking to yourself, oh God. Now I got to deal with Charlie. Come on. You get back to where you can see the door. And leaning against the door frame in exactly the same posture that you were leaning against it, waiting for him, but from behind is Jet.
What time is it?
10:30, 11 o'clock. It's dark. You're not 100% sure how long you wandered around.
Not tired yet?
Uh,
Doesn't sound like you.
Baptiste and I got into some shenanigans, and it got me all riled up, and I was a little worried, ain't the word, but wanted to make sure you made it back all right.
I appreciate it. What happened with Baptiste?
He's young. I don't look. I've never been one for openly brawling, but I couldn't turn this one down, and it was a lot of fun. Everybody's okay. Just it was interesting to say the least.
Well, as long as everyone's okay, at least you're doing it in the bar where the magically heals itself, so.
Yeah. So, how was, I could just kind of gesture behind you.
Your friend gets on my nerves.
Yeah, I can imagine. If I wasn't so, I think awed is the right word by her. I think I might be a little annoyed myself. But
the past couple days have been a lot for everyone. And I know it's been hard. How are you holding up?
I think I'm okay. I feel a lot better than I did. I just kind of leaned back against the door. I'm just like, I just don't. It's real weird when you are doing something that your mortal frame tells you this is where I die. And then you feel it start to happen. And then right when you're about to go down that rabbit hole, something plucks you out of it. And that's happened at least twice now. And it's a real mind bender on that one.
Yeah, I can't fully understand, but I at least remember you walking through an explosion unscathed. That there's been a lot of mind benders in this town that no longer exists.
Yeah, I still don't quite understand what happened here.
No. I found my brother from the future. He got pulled into the past. I don't really understand it, but he's okay. He's happy. And I don't really know what to do. It kind of feels like my whole purpose in life is gone. Have to find a new one, I guess.
You said you met him, or you saw him, or you found him. He's happy, or are you happy with that? Are you satisfied with what you found?
I miss him. He's older than me now. He has kids. He's going to have a daughter named Ellie. I'm happy for him. But I think when your whole life's set around one thing, when all of a sudden that's done, you're just kind of left with a hole. Like you're in your mid-20s and your purpose is done. I'm holding it together. And I am relieved. Not knowing where he was torturous, but I guess now I have to focus on something that I've never focused on before, which is myself. What do I want? And I guess that means I can focus on having friends too.
Yeah, and I'd say focusing on you is probably, and I say this with all due respect, long overdue.
I could say the same about you. And I'm not going to say I'll be able to understand everything you go through because your life is weird. But at least I'd like to think for most of the weird stuff recently, I've been there. And that's not changing.
Without a doubt. And that's likewise for you. I wouldn't have it any other way. I have a feeling everybody here, based on what I've heard, is going to start moving some type of way. And I feel like we're probably all going to end up in the same place. I'm not sure why. But either way, having someone that has your back and that you know has your best interests, well, that's always good to have. And I kind of, there's like a flicker, and if you're not looking close enough, you don't see it, but I kind of like look back at Charlie for a second. Just for a second.
When your players can read your mind. Thank you. You turn, and Ellie, you kind of turn too, and you hear just a very light thump. And you look at Charlie, takes his deck of cards that you've seen so many times and just drops them on the table from about 6 inches up, and it just goes and slightly tips to one side. And he's grinning like an idiot, just ear to ear. He is not young Charlie, he is your uncle. And he looks at you and he just starts to fade away.
I guess I run over to, I kind of brush past Jet and run over to where he disappeared. Is he gone now?
He's still there, but he is fading, and he just looks so happy, just ecstatic.
Charlie, what are you doing?
I get to leave now. I did it.
What are you talking about?
I did it. I got you to see him, and you're okay with it, and you're done, and it's all over.
What about the bar?
It'll come with. Can't have a bar in the middle of nowhere, Ellie. And you look around, and the whole place is starting to very slowly fade away.
Where will you go?
I can go wherever. And then his voice kind of changes, and you hear, "No, you can't. You're going where I tell you, you shithead."
What was that?
That was my little friend. It's the one that ties me here. We're going somewhere else, Ellie. I did it. 40 years I sat in this fucking valley and waited. And then I didn't think. I said, you went and you came back, and I didn't think it was done, and I thought I was going to be here forever. But you're moving on.
I wish you the best, Uncle Charlie. Trying not to get in too much trouble.
And the grin just gets bigger, and it's like half, this is wonderful, and half, you know better, I'm nothing but trouble. And he himself fades away, and he's gone. And the bar sort of stops in this semi-translucent state. It's like everything's made out of frosted glass. Like if you got real close to the walls, you could see through it. And you hear his voice say, "It'll stay till morning. I don't want to wake them."
Ooh, I can see Baptiste naked up there.
Don't look at Alice's room.
I very carefully said you couldn't quite see through the walls or the ceiling.
Yeah, you like what you see, cowboy? Yeah.
Wow.
If for some reason Lucius is scooting back across the floor like a dog, it's very strange.
No, I used to see him riding.
You don't see anything. It's just like it's going. It's here till morning, then it's gone.
But if I lost my mind, do you think I'd even be able to tell at this point?
Well, I mean, I think I saw what you just saw. If you want to like repeat it back to me, you can. But I'm pretty sure I know what just happened, and that's just magic. I mean, at this point, I'm thrilled. We're steeped in it. Baptiste is a young man. Alice has finally come around. I'm sorry that you don't get to spend more time with, and I kind of gesture because I was excited, but then it kind of trickles down back to, but I think he's probably happy now, knowing that you don't hate him, presumably.
No, I don't.
He knew you went out there, and the moment I mentioned who you were talking to, he got a crazed look in his eye, and he started flipping cards like I ain't ever seen. He said he put something on you to protect you. He said nothing was gonna take you. I told him I trust my friend, but that man was looking out for you in every way I think he possibly could.
And as you say that, that deck of cards that was sitting on the table finishes falling over, just. And you look down and it's still 100% there. Everything else is slightly faded. The deck of cards is still 100% right there on the table.
Can I pick them up?
They come up in your hand.
I'm gonna look. Do they just look like regular cards?
Nope.
Of course not.
All the face cards are people you know in your family. The ones you like. Your brother's the Jack. You're the Queen. I'll let you figure out who the kings are. And this deck has got, you can feel it. It's got potential. And he wanted you to have this. This is the protection that Jet was talking about, this deck.
I'm gonna just slip it in my pocket.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't the best uncle. And God knows I'm not gonna have some fairy tale ending with him considering what he did, but he tried. And I guess that's all you can do for the ones you care about.
Yeah, I guess that's right.
Hey Jet, in your line of work, I imagine you've seen quite a bit of death, right?
You'd think so, wouldn't you? I don't know how to tell you this, but I ain't very long in this line of work. I worked with my daddy on a farm with my younger brother, and I knew how to shoot. I knew all the things that, a ranch and family would know how to do. And one day, some real bad fellas came to our town and they needed help. And I just happened to be the one that either got lucky, got the most done, right place, right time, I don't know. But I ended up with a badge in my hand swearing that I would hunt down those fellers. And then I ran into y'all. So I've seen some. I have killed men, but not as much as you may think.
Sometimes I wish I could be that brave.
Brave is one word for it.
Believe it or not, I've had a similar experience, but I did what I did, but then I ran away.
There ain't nothing wrong with running away at a certain point. I mean, you've seen the stuff we deal with. No, nobody should have to deal with half of that.
No, but my time here getting way too involved with way too many dangerous things and helping people, seeing people like you, like Lucius, Miss Alice, even Baptiste, people who care, just kind of gives me pause. Some people, it doesn't sit right that they can just run amok.
I couldn't agree more. But I will say, with them in mind, and the fact that it looks like this place won't be here much longer, we probably have to ride out in the morning. So we should probably at least try to get some sleep, I would say.
I haven't slept in almost 3 days. I saw something I shouldn't have, and it's kind of been... I don't want to know what'll happen if I close my eyes.
I, as someone who deals a lot with that, how about I make you a deal and say, if you can go to sleep, I will do my best to go to sleep, and I will do my best to pull my strings there that I may, so that maybe you can actually get some sleep. I don't know how it works. I'm relatively new to it, but I am not new to that by any means.
I appreciate it.
Anytime.
All right, fine. If you also try to get a good night's sleep, I'll do my best. To be honest, I've pulled my fair share of all-nighters, but I'm not sure how much long I'd be able to avoid sleep anyways. It's been a wild day.
Yep, and I clap her on the shoulder as we walk upstairs, and I'm like, and who knows, tomorrow you might have to fight Baptiste.
Well, I mean, you have to stick to the gentleman's fighting style. A girl has her ways to win these things.
That's fair.
And with that, Miss Ellie turns into her room. Jet heads down the hall into his. Jet, how do you plan on keeping that promise? Protecting this lady while she sleeps in another room down the hall?
I mean, really, I don't know how talking to Raven works in this environment, so I guess I do like... I wonder how badly sound travels in here, but I guess I try to relatively quietly, while still getting it done, do some sort of like pre-bed dance, like for an hour.
Yep.
To get her attention, and then essentially, if I know I've got her attention, or I think I do, when I'm done, I'm just gonna be like, whatever you normally wrap around me for at least one night, can you put it around her? And then that's it, and then I'll go to bed.
And you don't get a response as such, but you lay down, and Ellie, you get a full night's sleep. It's like you're gone. It's like it's not one of those ones where you lay down, close your eyes, wake up, and it's over, because those are awful. You didn't get any rest. But it's like you slept for a day and a half instead of for one night. In the morning, when you wake up, you are refreshed, untouched by bad dreams, and just a general feeling of coziness and warmness around you. Jet, On the other hand, you know that you just voluntarily gave up your dream protection. And so you're just waiting and waiting. And it makes it hard to fall asleep. And it takes another hour because your heart's still pounding and you're thinking, downstairs, they must think I'm nuts. Like, there's no way they didn't hear it. I'm an idiot. I danced for no reason. And then you're out. And then you're standing in the middle of the most beautiful city you've ever experienced. It's stunning. The buildings are tall and the light reflects off their large windows. I mean, they're still wood. They're still this time and place. But this is a city untouched by war, untouched by violence. And it's on the coast. And the sun is setting ahead of you. So it's the West Coast. But the West Coast is 300-foot cliffs dropping into water where the quake took the rest of California. But you're standing at sea level. And you look around and you see a sign, and it says, City of Angels. There's no Lost. And then there's one of those high-speed cut scenes where you're just, and suddenly you're in the middle of the town, the city, in the public square. And you are standing on a platform, a stage. There is bunting around you. There are people behind you setting off fireworks in the display as you preach and tell the word. And have this, you look out in front of you and there's got to be 5,000 people in the palm of your hand. They are listening to every word you say. But the words aren't yours. They are the words of a madman, talking about returning to this state of beauty in nature, even if it kills every last one of them to find it. And the stage under your feet starts to shake and vibrate, and the earthquake, it's that earthquake, the 12 on the Richter scale earthquake hits in the middle of this speech, and you continue to speak as the ground cracks around you and falls away. Half the crowd falls away on a giant chunk of rock that crashes into the ocean. You're left all by yourself on this pinnacle of rock, still preaching. Still convincing the non-existent crowd that they need to follow you to safety and sanctuary. And then you wake up. You're all sweaty. Maybe from the dancing. It's that dried sweat, wet sweat, where you were sweaty and then you got dry and crunchy and then you got sweaty again. So now it's just itchy. You still got an hour before dawn.
All right. Well, get up and do my pre-morning dance.
The morning boogie. Dance till I feel better. Dance till I feel better. And with that, thank you, first of all, so much for the other three who just sat there and watched that. I appreciate the heck out of that. This next morning dawns, and it's weird. It feels like...
fall out of the sky.
No, it's still there. It's still here, but... there's a sense of waiting. It's waiting for you to leave. And just to make it easy, you all meet downstairs.
Alice is gonna go outside, and I assume Fancy is wandering through a forest somewhere.
Yep. The horses, any of you that had horses, they're just wandering around. They've come to the nearest building. They're domesticated animals. They come to buildings, right?
And Alice is gonna start just getting the horses ready.
Yeah,
She's ready to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Inside, the cabinets are empty. There's no liquor. Charlie's gone, so is the magic fridge. Or so is the magic cupboard, I should say.
Do we invent fridges now too?
We just did. I just apparently did that. So
It's canon.
yeah. It wouldn't be difficult. I mean, you just have to channel a little bit of Arctic air into the back of your cupboard. We got magic. We can do this. Anyway, It was a liquor cabinet. Didn't need to be cold anyway. So yeah, but that's all gone.
I'm just gonna give the place a look around and then walk outside because I know what's gonna happen once everybody leaves. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Baptiste heads downstairs and sort of.
Bounds down the stairs.
And as people
I mean, he's
start coming,
30, not 13.
Yeah, oh, I know. But if you were just like 80,
Well,
as
65
people-
going on 100.
sort of looking around.
as people start coming out, Alice is going to set up and try to get a shot as it fades from existence.
With your last prepared slide.
Yeah.
Okay. You give me a roll. Give me that photography roll. Let's have the first roll of the night after a mere 45 minutes. That's quick for us. For anybody that hasn't seen us before, this is de rigueur. This is how this plays out. So
It's an 11.
11. The angle's not very good. We do the same thing we always do here. How vain is Alice?
Yeah, I'm burning a white
Just
chip.
burn some coins.
Burn a white chip.
A chip. Okay. So roll one more die of that kind and see what comes up.
I gotta figure out what it is. D12.
What was it? D12.
That's an 8.
This is a special moment. Bugger dice rolls. You start to move it one way and you go, no, that's worse. And you move it the other way and you kind of just get it set up and you're thinking, maybe this isn't. And you look over and it starts to wobble as the last person steps. So who's last one out?
That would be me. So
Okay.
I wake up really hungover. My hair is a goddamn mess.
Yeah.
And by the way, it's been out the whole time. It's not even braided since that fight. So I'm like, oh, God. I look in the mirror and go, maybe it's time for a haircut. But not now. I'm overstaying my welcome. So I just pack my stuff up, my writing and everything. And as I leave the door, I give us a kind of a bow like, thank you. And I leave.
Yeah. And as you step out off the front stoop, Miss Alice, you're like, I don't have time. This is happening.
Yeah,
right
she's
now.
like, oh,
Because
shit,
it starts to shimmer. Like instead of just fading, it's starting to do that, and you just hit the button and just hold it down
Yep.
and hope that it lasts, like that
Yep.
it doesn't overexpose. And you are greeted by the dissolution of this bar. It just, like every atom just comes disconnected from every other atom, and this bar colored cloud just dissipates in all directions. And as it does, it's like they were there all along. The area is now full of trees. And there's
Close the
just
lens cap.
Yeah, and you close it. and
Exposure
there's just-
done.
Just as you're done, you look over and you see that there's one little broken table leaning against the bottom of a tree. It's the one that Charlie used to sit at.
That was the only. Was that the only real thing?
Thing that survived. Yeah. And with no reason to stay, you guys start making your way back up the valley to the train tracks where this all started. All those, I think, less than 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But paradise doesn't exist anymore. And maybe it never did. Except for all the scars and the memories and the skills and the abilities and the stuff and the magic and the personal growth. Other than that, what have the Romans ever done for us?
As we're kind of riding out of town, Alice looks around and she says, "Does anyone remember why we actually came here in the first place?"
Train
Stranded.
crash.
Yeah, stranded. By the way, I offer if anybody wanted to put anything in my carriage, so I'll carry the rest.
Yep, you guys can ride in that. Those of you that don't have horses, that's what I had assumed. You guys were sort of riding on either side of the cart. An undertaker's cart.
Does Ellie have a horse?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, okay. Jet does not, right?
No, Jet
has a
has
horse.
Black Betty.
Oh, right, okay.
Ramble.
Blamalam, yeah. How could I have forgotten? Miss Blamalam.
But yeah, Alice kind of says that,
So yeah, all
and-
the stuff's on the cart.
and it's like, yes, stranded. Only for the first couple of days, though.
What time of day is it?
It's just
Once we're-
after dawn. So
So
you
it's,
guys.
so it's just
yeah.
after dawn. We're finally, and we're by like the end of the tracks that lead out of the.
You're getting
now
back towards the
forest.
tracks. Yeah. Yep. You'll get there today for sure. Yeah.
Was as interesting as the disappearing building is, perhaps we can take a moment, make a pot of coffee, figure out exactly where it is we're headed to next. I'd hoped for some breakfast, but apparently our lodging is incorporeal.
Don't you just hate it when your lodging does that?
Yeah.
I'm just thankful that it didn't do it in the
I
middle of
shall
the night.
write a strongly worded letter.
To whom? There's nowhere to address it.
3
the
stars,
owner's
man.
also incorporeal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he could be anywhere by now.
Dear Messrs. Trip and Advisor.
Well, I'm writing my Yelp. There'll be 3 stars.
This is a small detail question because I really want this if you'll let me have it. So I can't remember. I feel like when I had my badge made, it originally said whatever state we're in.
Yep.
Like it was a state badge. Is there any chance that as this place faded that it changed and it just says paradise?
Yes, there is. I like that very much.
And there you go.
Yes, it does. Your badge says Deputy Paradise.
Love it. Perfect. Beautiful.
I imagine he's looking at it, and as he's looking at it, Alice says, "That's a badge that you can never use again."
And maybe I'll use it all the time. And maybe if I was in a certain kind of line of work, I could use it. And I kind of wink. Oh.
So as you guys get back to the actual train tracks, it may have occurred to you sort of how are you going to get the train to stop? It takes a long time for trains to stop. If you stand by the tracks and go, hey, you're going to have to walk a long way if they choose to stop. But paradise itself may not exist, but there is still that mine there, and there is still some miners who have to sell their coal. So as you get back to the tracks, what you find is, first, the trestle's been rebuilt. It's been 3 weeks, so that's been fixed, and the trains are running again. But right beside the track, what you find is there's a red flag on a horizontal stick that's laying on the ground, and there's a mast that it can be lifted up. And as you lift it up, another smaller bar swings out over the tracks. So when the flag clicks in place, this little bar is in front of the tracks. So when the train comes along and hits the bar, it drops the flag. But they know you want them to stop. And you can see just around a little bend, about half a mile up the road, or up the side of the tracks, there's a little sort of a flat spot with a little wooden deck made that looks like it's designed to hold their product.
Well, I suppose we could simply wait here, set the flag up, and catch the next train.
True.
Question.
And Alice looks at Ellie, and she says, "Are you going to be okay with the train, darling? I know it's been quite a traumatic experience with trains lately."
Why, Miss Alice, when did you become a Brit? From Georgia.
And she says, "It took you long enough to notice."
Well, I very much appreciate the concern, Miss Alice, but I feel like as long as I'm in it, not under it, I should be all right.
or not in a box in the baggage compartment, which, if I remember
Oh
correctly,
yeah,
is
that's
where you
how we
started the
met
first
her. I
one.
forgot.
Yep.
Yeah, it'll be nice being inside the train this time. Probably a lot more comfortable. Probably won't almost get killed while I'm in the box.
I'll be honest, I didn't have a train drop to me, and I'm still a little apprehensive because our experience with trains has not been good.
Unfortunately, the train is run by Delta, so Ellie in a suitcase, we got charged extra.
Is your baggage
Delta
visit overhead
doesn't
too heavy?
sponsor this stream.
Nope, and now they never will.
They never will.
I would not
Could've-
accept a Delta sponsorship. They can suck my incorporeal ass.
No, we're definitely not getting that.
I had
That's
rather
so
hoped you'd
happening
picked a
now.
defunct airline to do that with, but oh well.
I kind of liked Delta. Damn.
I like it just because it's cheap.
Southwest or nothing.
Oh Lord.
Which you'll pardon me if I missed the conversation, but which train shall we be piling onto? Which direction, east or west? Have we
is the
sussed
question.
that out?
You guys, I put a map up in game on the screen. You guys are where the big legend ship is, where the little marker says Paradise. And there are two obvious choices. I mean, get on the train and go either to Denver or Dodge City, but don't let me limit you. Scan down to the bottom. There we go. There's the one with the train tracks on it. Perfect. So I will let you guys.
Do we have a map? Does like Baptiste and Sarah?
Yeah, you would have this map essentially. So you had this. This is kind of how you got here.
Who has that?
Let's make it Jet and Jet and Alice had it because they were traveling in this direction. So
Yeah, we were already. That's how we met. Is on the train.
I wonder if we should reconnect with that woman we met. She worked for that big highfalutin group. Remember? That was ages ago.
Oh my gosh! I know. Yes, the Pinkertons, right?
Man, I remember that.
What was
As a
her name?
player, I remember that.
That was so long ago.
What was her
That's
name
when I was
again?
just watching the show.
It was. God, I don't remember her name. It was only 3 weeks ago. I don't know why I can't remember. It was not like it was. It's been months ago.
since then.
Well, if
I remember that she tried to bail.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, she lied to you. She tried to bail on
Laura,
you.
maybe?
I believe
Look,
that was it.
To be fair, that woman was put in
Laura Giles. Yeah.
her head, and if I ever find another Husker out here, I don't
want to deal with one of those.
let her not deal with it.
a Husker, like somebody from Oklahoma, from Nebraska, you really don't like people from Nebraska?
Apparently not.
Oh, that's right.
If they have
Baptiste wasn't there for that.
if they have 8
Huckster.
legs and
No, he actually pronounced
No,
it
he
right.
means
it's
Husker.
Oh, the
it's
Husker,
like a-
the
it's-
people, the
it's
creature
a
things.
badass.
That's
Yeah, it's a
right.
badass spider in this game.
Stop!
That's
I'm hearing
right.
Which makes me think that someone who designed this game doesn't like the
Doesn't like
Cornhuskers, right? Is the,
Nebraska.
yeah.
Alice says, "Well,
Yeah, just to bring this full circle while you're sitting there talking, you hear it's only in your head. That tunnel's around here somewhere, though. Just
go
up
back
that
to
hill.
the. Let's build
We
paradise
blew it up.
ourselves. Let's go back." Alice says, "Well, I know Jet mentioned that he wanted to stop home, so we could route down to Dodge City, and then Alucius mentioned he needed to go back to the city of Lost Angels."
Well, Dodge City's in the opposite direction of California. Kansas and California, I do believe.
Right, but I'm
other
saying we could
ends.
route through Dodge City, go south, and then west, so that Jet can make a visit home.
I just
One thing
want
to
check
notice
on-
about this map, not every line on this map is a railroad. The ones with the hash marks on them are railroads. There's minor and major ones, but those colored lines, those are just trails.
Trails, yeah.
So you'd have to be horseback and buggy.
Is there? I may be too zoomed in. Is there a key for distance somewhere? Like I'm trying to see the distance.
Nah, we travel at the speed of plot.
I just
Yeah,
want to
we
know.
do.
I just want to know the path.
There
between
is,
Dodge
though.
City.
It's
and
at the
Santa
bottom
Fe.
of the legend on
Very
the
bottom
left.
left-hand corner underneath the legend. Yeah,
Oh, look at that.
an actual scale. Now, did I do a smart thing?
And
Let's see if I did it. How smart am I? Oops. Not smart enough to use the tool correctly. That's one thing. There we go.
Oh, 1 inch equals 200.
Oh, I didn't do it. Damn it. I can change that. Oh, well. Anyway, so yeah, you can use that scale at the bottom to get an idea, at least, of the distances.
So it's about.
We'll see.
Oh, look at that person being smart using the stick.
Thanks.
I thought Puck was making all those jokes tonight.
So 31 feet is 500
Oh,
miles.
Oh, chat, I am so flattered by all these callbacks that you guys are getting. And, oh, that's amazing.
Oh, I wish I could see him now.
Hallow just said the Hillbilly boys are just waiting to go west. So,
Oh,
remember the Hillbillies?
They're
Yes.
probably dead.
So the trail
Thanks,
is approximately 250 miles
Oh, hell, that ain't nothing.
based on my
10 to 12
use
days
of
travel, yeah.
use of
in the real world.
Yeah. it's
use
not
of
a-
stick.
That's not a quick. That's not a quick little thing. So you've got the map out. We've got the map out. We're all looking at it.
I imagine so, yeah.
Well, so Baptiste just pulls the coin out and says, "Well, yo."
Alice jumps when he pulls that thing out because it's just a flurry of bang, 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 and she's like, ah!
You asked what it was that brought. I mean, I know that y'all came to Paradise as a group, but this is what brought me there. So, quite honestly, where I head next, and Baptiste will just like hold the coin on top of Paradise, and he just flicks to spin it and sees where it lands on the map.
It does quite a little dance before it comes to rest. You very quickly figure out it starts off where Baptiste started off. So it spins down to that part of the map. And then wherever Baptiste went, that's where that coin wobbles around and almost falls down, and it almost falls down. And you're just going through the memories. I remember that was with Bill, that was with Wyatt, just through all of that. And it comes to Paradise and it almost stops. And then it just runs across to the border and out just past the coast of the Broken Lands and stops just in the water, just off the coast.
So and then Baptiste sort of just picks the coin up and taps the map and says, "Well, I'm happy to stick with you for a while, but that's where I'm headed."
And as you pick that coin up, it falls out of your hand again, which never happens. Like that, it's done this. And it lands again on edge and stops on edge in Paradise. Or where Paradise was. Reach down and grab it.
And just for a question, did he do this, for clarification, on the map that Alice has and is looking over, or the one that Jet has? Or are we all looking over?
Well, I
the
don't
same
know.
map?
I don't
It's all-
know how
oh.
many different people have different maps. I assume there was one.
I just
map.
assumed it was one big map and
Okay,
everybody saw
all
it.
right.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Someone went halvesies on it.
I assume I was traveling and Alice already had a really nice map. I probably had
Yeah.
one scribbled on a napkin.
Yeah.
Probably.
One of the ones that you get at the train station. For
Alice saw
your kids are
map,
supposed to color it in.
scoffed at and gave a new one.
Yeah, Alice has it's like a brochure with
Yeah.
like
Lists of good
It's got
hotels for each of the cities.
It's got the custom AAA travel map on
Yeah.
it from the
Yep.
90s.
Yeah.
it's like embossed on the front and everything.
The one that came with the Airstream trailers.
Yeah.
Remember Airstream trailers? Used to see that going down the road and go, damn.
Yeah.
Those people camp better than I live.
And it says powered by Delta in the bottom right hand corner.
If you are planning to head towards Dodge City, I still have friends and a number of people there I wouldn't mind checking in on, but ultimately it looks like the coast is where I'm heading.
That's what I was thinking too. I've actually got. I went to school with Miss Kitty in Dodge City, and the Marshal.
Well, Lucius, that's the other direction.
Yeah, I'm just like,
I mean, they're talking about eventually getting.
yeah. For me, I'm debating, like, I just need to get home. As much as I don't want to go, but it's just a feeling that I need to be there as soon as possible.
Where exactly is home again?
City of Los Angeles.
Well, shoot. I mean, look, I'm right there with you, friend. I'm real worried about my brother, and I ain't, looking to stop very long. But if we do go to Dodge City, I know it's not a short trip down to Santa Fe, but then it's just one big train ride through Albuquerque. We stop off at Prescott, and then boom, we're in the city of Los Angeles. No more than
Extra month.
Which will take us 3 years to roleplay.
I kind of assume it's like, did anything happen on the train? No. All right, here we are.
Oh, you should know me better than that.
Yeah.
Oh, well, maybe an episode or two on the train. Who knows?
Well, I'll go with you to Dodge City, but I do really need to go home.
Lucius, if home is what's important to you, then
yeah,
I'll ride with you. It's fine with me. I have no reason to go to Dodge City. I just happen to know a handful of people there.
Oh my God, yes, let's split the party for multiple episodes.
Across.
I did not make that asshole decision. We're doing the story.
We know I'm not averse to it. I'll do it.
I hold my, I like kind of gesture. I'm like, alternatively, we could go up, ride up to Denver, take that train ride to the city of Los Angeles, let Mr. Baptiste and Mr. Lucius sort their family ordeals, and then on our way out, if we're still so inclined, we can head over to Prescott, and then wherever the hell we're going after that, if we're going anywhere after that. And I kind of look at everybody realizing that I'm like talking like we're like a unit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as much as I want to go home, maybe I just need to do a little thinking first. So I'll come with you to Dodge City if that's what you guys want. Because we'll be heading, I'll be, nice train ride would be nice, just rather than taking a long way around, I suppose.
The long way around is going to Dodge City, friend.
True.
You got to take at least a 10-day ride over to Santa Fe. If we go to Denver, it's one long train ride and plenty of time to think. I don't know why I've switched sides so strongly now, but I'm trying to be honest with you about this.
Ellie?
I mean,
you haven't really expressed an opinion yet.
I mean, my last remaining family just disappeared with a bar, so I don't have anywhere to go. You guys who need to visit family and everything, that's your decision.
Lucius, if it's a matter of wanting to visit family and sort things out, I have a need to head that way, but look at what happened to us 3 weeks here.
True.
You want to talk about taking an extra month to go the wrong direction, two territories away just to eventually head home. Home might not be there.
Yeah. Okay, well, yeah, I'll go with you.
Well, I suppose what I'm suggesting is that we'll go with you.
Well, it's a lot more to it, but to be honest, because I care about you and I want to tell you this straight up, maybe California, Los Angeles, is a fucking horrible place. And I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. So, just want to tell you that right now.
Well, yeah, it's an entire territory led by a maniacal cult leader falling into the ocean full of demons and horrible creatures. Sounds like fun.
Sounds
Try
a
it.
little bit like paradise.
Try living in it.
At least you'll be able to find a good place of taquitos.
Can Alice use her cartography
The
trade
invented
to
taquitos.
figure out how much longer it's actually going to be to go the other way in travel time?
Can you use cartography to get the DM to tell us how long it'll take?
I have cartography as a skill. Alice studied maps in school, man.
The rough
Nerd.
difference would be essentially the length of time you spent getting from Dodge City to Santa Fe on foot, like on horseback.
Okay.
So it's like 7 to 10 days difference.
Okay.
And the 7 to 10 days is all walking time. Like if you look, the track
Is
is
it not a
about
horse
the
trail?
same length. It is, but like it's you on horses walking.
Oh.
If you look at the length of the track, it's about the same in both directions. So the difference is going to be that sort of that little bit of a train ride east and then the long trek back.
Okay.
I'd be so
Did you
pleased.
play Oregon Trail?
Yes, I got dysentery. I mean, what?
Well,
And a mugwump.
Oh, if we do go to Denver, though, and then ride, we're going to have to go through godforsaken Utah.
It is, for anybody that does not remember, another religious state. It is the state, in this instance, run by the Mormon Church.
Oh, well,
And very little is known about it. Very little is known about it.
I'm just pointing. I'm like, there's Skull Canyon, the Mouth of Hell, Devil's Canyon, and don't even get me started.
I'm sure that those are just named that for the tourists. Try to sell a commemorative shot glass or two.
That sounds like what the Mormons are up to.
Look,
So great. So okay, we take an extra week to go on a trail and go through the South, or we go through Utah. Those are the options.
Well, I mean, the way south
It's
is, I mean,
straight
New
shot.
Mexico and Arizona is not exactly going to be a pleasant trip either.
I mean, it's
so-
an extra week on foot, but then there's still the train ride, and there's not actually a train that goes directly to Los Angeles through the south. It stops at Railhead,
Mhm.
and then it's another trail to
Yeah.
get
Yeah,
to
but that
Los
trail's like-
Angeles.
Let's see, 3.3.
And if you look to the north of City of
That's like
Los Angeles,
a-
that train doesn't get there either. That would be something Lucius would know. I think I mentioned it right in the beginning. Brother Grimm has actively prevented railheads from reaching the city of Los Angeles.
But the northern line seems to go
It's close.
a heck
Yeah.
of a lot closer, and it's a from where we are, it's on a train 100% of the time.
Yep, absolutely. And they can take your cart and they can take your horses on the train as well. This was something that was entirely possible.
and we'd get dangerously close to Fort 51. I'm just saying. So like,
What
so-
side are you on? I can't.
So glad somebody saw it. It's sitting there on the map. You notice they even put it in really big letters so you'd see it.
oh,
That wasn't me. I didn't do that.
I'm waiting for that side quest, but I'm not on a side. I'm just on the side.
It's
of
ready to
Luke.
go. Just letting you know.
And Alice is, in the meantime, she's like, well, I don't want to get stranded here. And she's raising the flag so
Yeah.
that at least if a train does come through, like,
We're just
Yeah, I'd like to think
Not gonna
that,
miss
you
it.
know, we're not going to accidentally miss a train coming our way.
So I was
well,
just
yeah,
like,
but
do you
if
hear
it
that?
doesn't stop, yeah, but if it doesn't stop, there's nothing we can do.
I can get on a moving train. That ain't no problem for me.
Well, that's great.
I think. I don't know. Actually, I kind of walk to the nearest solid object and kind of like walk and try to walk through it Because I don't
Yep.
remember if I could do that still.
Yep, 5 wind per turn.
Poof.
So you come
All
out the
right.
other side. Oh,
Yep, still got it.
but yep. You have all of your abilities now. They are all back.
There you go.
Oh man, I was trying to grab the token on the map and just move us there. And that way Kevin would be like, "Oh, you just got there."
Weird.
You showed up.
I can't do it though.
I do it. Oh, I've done such a silly thing. Oh no. Oh, I put it on. Did I put it on that layer? No, I didn't even put it on that layer. I've lost my ability to have this. Even I can't move it now. Well, this is no good.
Oh, it's because you have
Oh,
the...
I know what I did. There we go. I have the power.
At this point though, I just kind of put my hand up and I go walk over next to Miss Ellie and I'm like, I'm officially in the indifferent camp. I'm getting to Prescott one way or another eventually, so I'll be over here. Y'all.
Alice says, I mean, I have no desire to go home. Do not get me wrong. I just thought it would be nice to stop in Dodge City, but...
And you
Well, if
hear
there's
coming
nothing pressing
from
in
the
Dodge.
southwest the meep, meep of a train.
Oh look, Southwest did win. Southwest sponsors.
Nothing.
And my apologies. It's actually southeast. I should have prevented that from happening. Yeah,
This
the
is why we don't have
southeast.
sponsors, Kevin.
That's right.
Southwest,
Yes.
will you get us to Gen Con?
Oh!
Shameless. Absolutely shameless. Yeah, everybody give him the best smiley face.
Hey.
If anyone out there works for Southwest Airlines,
There it is.
tell us whether or not they fly into Indianapolis, that'd be fantastic.
You know, I mean, Marty could totally do the like, we'll be cruising at 30,000.
I was just thinking I'd be so scared if I heard Marty as my overhead
This is your
announcer.
captain
Oh, no, my mic's
speaking.
still
We're
on.
gonna get up to
Sorry.
cruise altitude real
My
soon here.
headphones. God damn it.
And then there's
We
a
get the
second
rest of you
part.
up here to 30,000 feet with me.
God.
So yes, the train is coming from Dodge.
I'm a
City.
live streaming professional.
Yeah,
It's fine.
that's why they have those breakaway headphones, so you can do that high skill stunt work.
I hear me a train.
Yeah, Alice is like, okay, well, let's, I guess.
Now, I mean, this is an important question. Is this the eastbound or the westbound
Yeah, is
train?
it? Yeah.
This is coming from the east, heading west. It's heading
Okay.
towards Denver.
I think that this is our...
That was going to be my next suggestion, honestly, is we just get on whatever train comes
Let's
through
just get on.
first.
Huh, maybe just decide. Let's get on.
So you guys pull up the flag, ding, 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 and then jog up the track to get to the landing. And you see the train come through. The flag drops, and you see the big billow of steam as he starts to slow down. And they come to a
Alice
stop
starts-
next to you.
Having flashbacks and
Yep.
looking at Ellie. Like,
Yeah, I'm away from the train. I'm waiting for that thing to be fully stopped before I go anywhere near it.
Absolutely. And it comes to fully stopped, and you think, I'm over this. And then they open the doors to the carriage where all the stuff is, and you see a big wooden box sitting on the floor in the corner. You can,
Does it have claw marks on it?
in your head it does for a
Just
second.
like old times.
And they assist you in getting the horses on board. The wagon, they kind of grumble, but it gets on board. It takes up a lot of space, but they manage to get it inside.
do we
there.
just get to ride it for free? What are we doing? Do we
Oh
have
no, you're
tickets?
paying for it,
What's
but I don't
happening
worry
here?
about your. You know what we do with money in this game. It just doesn't need to be there.
Actually,
Yeah.
Actually, if the porter comes through, is it the porter? Who's the ticket taker type person?
Yeah, he would be. Yeah, the conductor would be taking.
that,
he
the
would
the
actually get you
conductor?
onto the train. The
It's the
porter
guy
would get
from
your stuff.
Polar
on.
Express.
Yeah. So
Okay.
with that, when he goes to ask for everyone for their fare and all of that kind of stuff, Baptiste will kind of take a step forward and says, "I'm so sorry, my good man. I should have probably been towards the front of the line, and I do understand that if you've been going through these parts for so long that you do not recognize that I am Baptiste St. Laurent, a good, close, and personal friend of Wild Bill Hickok and Miss Anna Oakley. This actually is the talent scouting organization. We were hoping to do a little bit of a show, see if anyone might be interested, and I'm sure that that is well worth the expenditure that's not coming out of your wallet, but the wallet of the railroad. You can simply write these few tickets off, and I will be in the dining car around 5:30 this evening.
And Alice pipes up and says, "Why, yes, dear sir. Look, we are traveling with this wonderful news." And she shows him one of the 3D pictures.
And I just kind of poke my head over the shoulder of Baptiste, and I was like, "I don't see a broom. Do you have a broom to sweep all these names up with?"
Of course, we do have to hire
Wow.
on some unfortunate indignates as help, but for the most part, my partner and I would be happy to provide some entertainment. And shoves Jet to the back.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. Yeah. Live. Sure. Yeah. Okay. Just,
And Alice starts doing vocal warm-ups.
and he holds out his hand. Just,
As he walks away and we all don't have to pay, he'll clap Jet on the shoulder and say, "You get to buy the first round."
Fair enough.
And I
gonna
walk
look at my
towards a
clothes.
really nice single carriage room and really loudly with my hand on my 6-gun say, "I do believe that this is my room, young man, but if you would like to have a conversation about it," and I kick the guy out.
and the guy just like, yeah. And very quickly, you guys have the better part of the better carriage, the 5 of you, at not quite gunpoint.
At least I'll tip the man.
Oh, Baptiste is about to get real fun, ladies and gentlemen.
I love it.
But to see that, we are going to have to wait until after the break. So that only took an hour and 20 minutes plus 3 hours last week
Leave.
get us the hell out of paradise. And I don't mind
That's a
sharing
record
with you
time.
and our fans and our audience, I hate that town. Oh, I was so happy when that town ceased to be.
Thanks for
I mean,
partnering with us, Pinnacle.
To be fair, Kevin, at 8:30 you could have said, "And as we open the scene on our group on a train bound towards the West Coast."
I could have. Yeah.
Can we just, for prosperity,
Oh,
does
God.
anyone know how long did y'all actually spend in paradise?
I defer.
Chat?
If I had to guess,
Like about 3 weeks, I think.
I think it's like 15, 16 days.
Well, how
I don't
many
think-
episodes?
Yeah, I was gonna say 2 weeks about
Yeah.
How many episodes are we in? 30?
There's a lot of episodes.
5, 20.
Yeah, like
So if y'all out there would like to be the official stat keeper for
There you go.
Paradise, that would be freaking cool.
Yeah,
In
how
the
many days
meantime,
were we
we're
in
gonna go to
paradise
break.
and how many people cried? That's all I want to know.
Right?
I cried.
it's
Yeah, how many
approximately
times we
87
actually rolled
hours.
dice here?
It took us to roleplay
87
3
hours?
weeks.
Wow.
At any rate, we're going to go ahead and go to a break. Y'all stick around for 22 minutes. We'll be back. All right, partners. Well, here we go on the train, riding the train, high on Ghost Rock. I avoided saying cocaine like we agreed. I did not say cocaine on there.
Damn it, Marty. Marty.
Shit, my
one
mic's still hot. Sorry.
That's okay, because I still had Twitch on, so I heard all of that twice, which made it just extra
Wait,
Marty-esque.
wait.
Oof.
Are there times when you don't hear Marty twice? Because I thought
Oh, you don't have the Marty filter. This
I-
makes so much more sense.
Wait,
No, there's
wait.
a time and space filter you can put on your microphone.
you have
Oh.
both of them up, you'll hear the feedback.
Okay,
That's-
I want
that's
to
the one.
say Evan did an entire character like that.
No,
It was
that's a
one-
If
bad
you want me
person.
to be in two
That's
places
a
at once, I
bad
certainly
person.
can.
Oh God.
The
Oh,
person
my
you know
Lord.
that did that is a bad human being.
it's all going off the rails.
I gotta go close.
No,
Off the
don't say that on
rails.
train.
Watch out, Ellie.
No.
Yuck, yuck,
Oh,
yuck,
don't
yuck,
jinx
yuck,
it.
yuck.
Don't jinx it. Please don't jinx it.
Oh, okay, we're officially back. We should make some sense here.
Oh,
First
God.
of all, chat, held legs. Thank you.
I'm glad we
for
got
all
that
the
out of our
math
system before we
that
came
we
back
didn't
from break.
do. But you guys, yeah, apparently the funeral and the festival were on the same day. So we are talking 16 days plus or minus 2 days. according to the
So
source
it's been
that counts.
2 weeks.
Chat. Yeah, a little over 2 weeks.
Just over 2 weeks. Man, we've all grown so quickly.
I only missed 2 of those days. Baptiste was only not there for 2 days.
Oh my god, you're right. Good lord.
Yeah.
But it was like months ago. Oh my god.
I know.
Where's
Oh, I love this
William?
game.
It's like,
I
but it's
love
been like
role-playing
real
games.
life though, right? Because it's like we've had like again like 80 some
Yes,
hours.
it's been like real life. I'm a gunslinger and have
I
killed
know.
many people.
I know.
If by
Ryan,
real
don't
life
admit
you
that
mean
on
it's kept me
camera.
up awake
Nope.
at nights, yes.
Well,
this
I'm on a
is-
watch list in 2
Good job.
countries.
Now you can't visit us in Canada.
That's okay. Apparently, one of y'all can't visit me.
Oh, shit.
Oh.
Throwing
Listen,
shade.
it was the 80s.
Oh, why would you admit we were gonna leave it up in the air and they got
It was going to be ephemeral, just like the bar.
No, there's no way I was leaving that hanging there. I like low-hanging fruit. Speaking of low-hanging fruit, back on this train,
My God,
you guys
okay.
are moving again. We are heading into the northwest,
Chugga.
because I don't think that's the name of an airline. And we are heading into, as you head into further into Colorado, the terrain is getting rougher and rougher. Flashbacks be damned, there's trestles here and there that you have to go over. And there's, all kinds, the train rocks back and forth. And, there's a lot of people on this train. That is different from the last time. There's probably, between the cars that you can see and between, when you got on and when you walked past to get to the good cars, because the good cars are at the back because they're not in the steam and the smoke from the engine at the front. So as you walk past, you saw there's quite a few people on this train, probably 40 or 50, not including you guys. And as the train starts to move northward and this ground gets rougher and rougher ahead of you, you come to a particularly long trestle, and you can see it curving out ahead of you as you approach. And it's not like the metal posts one, it's the whole thing is built out of railway ties. So it's like a truncated pyramid almost trestle, but it's almost all solid wood, all just bolted together. It's massive. And in the center, it's got to be twice the height of the one that stopped you on the way to paradise.
I imagine Alice is thinking, like, if this train gets robbed, I'm much more equipped to deal with it now than I was 2 weeks ago.
And as you say that out loud,
God damn it.
the train starts to slow down.
You jinxed
Slide
it.
open the windows, because you've had them shut, because it's a bright sunny day.
Mm-hmm.
And you see at the far end of the trestle, the ground, the cliffside ahead of you, as the train starts to really slow down now and stop. And on that ridgeline facing towards the tracks on each side, there are 4 brass cannons, armed or being serviced by groups of men dressed as northern soldiers.
Should have gone to Dodge.
Baptiste, you notice they've ripped off their epaulets and their rank markers, but you can still tell just from the dress, the officers from the common men, and they're all intermingled. This is not an organized group. You can tell they're all ratty and torn.
Are these emplacements just in case, or is this something that's been put here to try to like heist a train?
All the cannons are pointed directly at the train. And these group of people, and then behind them, there's more men on horseback in amongst the trees, milling around.
Okay.
It's a
Can
slow
I-
turn and a glare at Alice.
Can I?
For what?
Noticing
Jinxed it.
what you meant, what you said as a freebie about the men and what they're wearing and officers and
Yeah.
blah blah blah. Is there someone who, by their poise, their demeanor, their clothing, all of that stuff, that I can look at and be like, that's the person, he or she, they're in charge?
Give me a Give me not streetwise. Let's call it a leadership role in a weird sort of way to recognize the leader rather than to be a leader.
Ooh, okay.
Because you were in the forces. You're.
We'll see how this goes.
It's very difficult to tell. It seems like the one thing you do get from this is that it's not the hierarchy of a military is gone. This is a group of men. This is a gang. If you had to guess, you'd say probably they're defectors.
Okay. Okay. Does
Alice
it
is looking
seem
at the
like an
rest.
immediate threat?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
They are stopping this train. It is clearly them that is causing this train to stop. There's another group of men on horseback right at the end of the trestle, waiting for the train.
Okay.
Alice looks at Jet, and she says, "Round 2." And she
And how do you? Oh, that's weird. I guess I start climbing the wall, like inside the carriage, and you just see me pop through the ceiling. And I'm going to the top of the train, but I'm climbing. Just there's no ladder needed.
Alice says, "Cheating."
Baptiste will grab his rifle and find the thing up at the ceiling.
The hatch.
The hat. Thank you. The hatch.
Yep.
And say and kind of look to whoever's the closest to him. Says Miss Alice says she says, "Well, you're not wrong, but it is a pretty good idea." And he'll because he's probably tall enough to just pop it.
Yep.
Grab
And
it
he's so
pull
young and
himself up.
strong now.
Oh yeah, just haul yourself up there. Nothing hurts, nothing strained in the process, and you are up on the roof with Jet.
All right.
Alice is going to. Are there people are we in like a general area of the train where there are other people?
Should have said something, Jet.
You're towards the back of the train, so there's the engine, the coal car, 3 or 4, or the baggage car, and then 3 or 4 regular carriages, and then the fancy ones that Baptiste took for you.
Right, but are there other passengers? Is what I'm trying to.
Oh yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay,
The rest of the train is full of them. Your little compartment, there's only the 5 of you.
Oh, okay.
You chased everybody else. Well, the ones you didn't specifically chase out have moved.
Alice is actually going to start working towards the front of the train, telling people to hunker down and hide.
Okay.
And she's gonna start kind of having people literally crawl where they can't be seen through the windows towards the back of the train.
Okay. And remember, you guys are out on a trestle, hanging over the middle of nowhere.
I'll go towards the back of the train and kind of do the same thing and start telling people to duck down.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I'm done with that, I'm going up.
Okay. And Lucius?
I will go to the bar and start making Molotov cocktails.
Okay.
It worked
I
once.
thought you were going to be just like, I'm going to go to the bar and just take
I
it.
did too. I'm gonna get drunk again.
Have a drink.
Okay. So look, I
Start making coffee.
I don't want to waste the wind, so I'd like to assume in the first motion I got up top because you said we're on the trestle and then we're being stopped right before the next land, right?
Yep.
Yeah, if I get out there and I see we're on the trestle, I poke my face back through and I'm just pointing. I'm like, we can't blow this one up. And just back out.
The two
Said
of
the
you,
guy who he's gone.
I can fly.
This one?
anybody who's looking out,
This one.
which would be both of you on the roof, plus at least Miss Alice. At least Lucius, because the other two are hurting people. Give me a scrutinize roll, please.
Man, I should really put some points in scrutinize.
You know, I've only got one, and I always am hoping. Oof.
It's not great.
Good hoping.
It's
Which
better than
one's-
yours.
It's been a
That's
while.
like
Where's
me.
scrutinize again? It's
Near the top.
Under cognition, top left.
okay.
column.
Oh, here it is. I did put
Mine is so good though.
Wow.
Wow, everybody sucks.
Wow. Okay.
What did I get?
Hey,
God.
mine's
You
a
got a
success at least.
I did? I didn't even get a chance to look at it.
Yes. Baptiste, as you crawl
No.
out through the top and sort of go to all fours and reach for your pistols or your rifle, maybe at this range, you look in the trees and there's dozens of them on horseback. You look back behind you and Jet's sort of facing the other way, getting ready. And he hasn't noticed. He's only seen the cannons, but you look on that side and there's another 15 or 20 over there. The other two, you see nothing.
As quickly as I can, then to Jet, I will say, I know that it costs you quite a bit, but you got to get to that engine. If this train stops, it's not starting up again. I'll hold things down up here as best I can.
All right. I don't know much about train driving, but sure.
Well, I mean,
why not?
talk to the engine, talk to conductor.
Talk
The
to
trainy
engineer,
drive
boy.
man.
The choo-choo man.
He doesn't know what a hatch is. He doesn't know. God.
Oh, I kind of
He's not so good out of his cave.
So yeah, I guess I just do I want? I'm just gonna run on the top of the train.
Yeah,
and
the
drop
train
down
is
when I
still
get
moving
there.
very slowly, but it is still moving. So you take off running forward. Baptiste, you sort of take a preparatory.
Yeah, I'll wait
Stance.
until I've got a good shot.
Yep. Inside, actually, both of the misses.
Uh-huh.
Give me a leadership roll.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Whoa,
Okay.
that echoed around.
Okay, Ellie, you head into the cart behind, and as you
Everyone
step
is
in, you look
so
up, and the
safe.
faces. I mean, this is another carriage cart. This is like the fancy ones, like you guys are in, and the faces that come out are old, snooty, put out, and pissy.
Great.
But this is your wheelhouse. You stare them down. You don't want to get shot. Get back in there and get low, and they listen. Like drunkards at the last call. You put that voice on, that I'm the boss voice, and they damn well listen. They go back inside. Miss Alice,
Yep.
you
That's
step
a-
through the door
That exploded.
and you step in the door and just go and point. And they all just run to the next cart. You walk into that cart, you point down. They all lay on the ground. You walk into the next cart, you point. They all go to the next cart. You walk in the next cart, they all lay down. You walk back through. They are lying so still, they might as well be dead.
Good.
Not a word spoken.
Interesting choice of words.
Cool. That went way better
They
than what
won't
I
even,
thought it was
they
going
won't
to.
even look at you. They won't question you. Is when you walk back through, they wiggle and try and get underneath the seats.
See,
Whatever's
okay, and this is
outside,
only
they are far more afraid of you than they are of it.
the bad part is that this is only playing into Alice's idea that the whole British accent thing is like,
Well, you didn't have to use it, so
yeah.
all you did was point.
All right. So yeah, with that done, I'm going up on the roof of the train, I guess.
Okay, you start to climb out onto the roof. Jet, you start to approach the front of the train, running towards the front of the train. What's the plan?
I'd like to think that I'm running, and then all of a sudden a hatch flips open and I trip off the train. I mean, I'm running up to the front, and yeah, I think for a moment whether it would be better not to drop in prior to getting to the front car, so not to scare the conductor. And then I'm like, no, that'll be good for my overall. So I'm just gonna get to the very front, and whenever I'm like, yep, this is it, I'm just gonna drop through and try to just kind of as soon as I get in there, just be like, I got a badge.
Into the engine?
Into the compartment that where you run the engine, like the conductors.
The actual back of the engine itself.
Mhm.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because there's an engine, then a coal car, then the actual baggage car, then the rest of the train.
Yep.
Okay, so you run all the way forward to the front. Just for giggles, give me which one would it be? It would be nimbleness. Give me a nimbleness roll.
Oh boy.
Just
I gotta
running
remember.
up this train.
I gotta remember where that is.
Bottom left.
Under yeah, it's a category by itself, bottom left side of the sheet.
Here we go.
Yeah, you well you I mean you wrote the scene yourself. You're running forward and you think, I wonder where Miss Alice the thing opens up right into your knee and you kind of do that sort of ow 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 thing as you keep running, but you manage to get to the front of the train. You drop because of that not quite so gracefully through the floor. Take another 5 wind. And yeah, the engineer goes, ah, and throws himself back against it and burns himself on the boiler, jumps back forward. Ah! What the hell?
I'm with you, partner. I'm the sheriff around these parts, or deputy. I don't know. I'm something. I'm here to help.
Do you have a plan?
Super smooth. Super smooth.
Which of these makes it go?
Any points?
And I'm like, and I just shove it forward.
Okay. Yeah, you shove it forward. You hear this as the steam pour, because you shove it, right? I mean, you hammer it. It's supposed to be smooth. The wheels start to spin, but this train starts to spool up and starts to move again. And you see the people behind the cannons sort of reaching to get ready to fire. And Baptiste, now you see the boss, because he comes leaping out from behind a tree and screams, "No! We want the train!"
If I can do it, I'm gonna squeeze a shot off.
Oh yeah.
When I see that. There's shooting around here someplace.
Somewheres.
From
Kevin?
this range, yeah.
No. Sorry, that's not a pistol. It's not pistols. My bad.
No,
my
it's
bad.
supposed to be rifle, right?
Rifle.
19. Yeah, okay. So yeah, he leaps out, and you see his shoulder kind of jump back, and there was no epaulette on there, and now there's no shoulder there. That you took that part off, and that arm is quite beat up, and he falls back against the tree. But it doesn't appear that the cannons are going to fire.
Do you want an actual damage roll?
Sure, if you want. Yeah, we'll see how bad you are. Because he might come back later. Yeah, 12, that's two wounds. So yeah, that makes sense.
Right
Yeah.
arm. There we go.
Yeah, he slams back against the tree. Oh, shit.
Okay.
Jet, the engineer, is like, he just looks at you, looks at the train, and just ducks. And you realize that of all the places on the train, you are inside a big metal box. I mean, yes, it's attached to a big steam-powered bomb, but you are in a little metal box right now. And you kind of crouch down with him.
Yeah. That's
The rest of you feel the train lurch ahead, and you look out the windows and see the cannons pointed at you, and you hear yelling and screaming. And
Well, I'm on top of the train now.
what are you doing?
As we're moving, I'm like, oh, it's already time. I take a sip of somebody's martini they left it there.
Knew it.
Wait,
classy.
Kevin, you have
That's
made me
classy.
I am now going to be a puppy alcoholic. Anyway, for the sake of like time, can I say that I convinced the bartender to help me make these? A couple.
Oh yeah,
couple
once he
cocktails.
realizes that you're trying to help, yeah, he's pulling Everclear out from underneath the bottom and just popping corks. Like
Don't
two
worry,
fists in
just
it,
a
and you're
cheap
just going
shot for
along
now.
with pieces of cloth and sticking them in the top. Yeah.
At the same time, I try to yell at somebody like, okay, does anybody have a good arm? Just be at the ready. Just in case. I'm going to be handing these out to the biggest, strongest guys I can find at each cart, just like, so that they're loaded, and just tell them, like, if you see somebody trying to get to the train, you chuck it out the window at them.
Okay, are you trying to command them to do this or frighten them into doing this? What's your approach?
Seduce.
It would be easier to actually scare them, but if the leadership doesn't roll doesn't work, I will overwhelm.
Don't tell me about the rolls. Tell me how you did it.
Okay. Yeah, you know, just a ferocity. I just with a look of seriousness, with a voice of intensity, like, we are going to die, so you better do this, okay?
Okay, give me. Yeah, sure, that's better. Let's see how drunk they are. They're only on a train, so let's do only that much chance. Yep. Yeah, they're hell yes, and they grab a couple of them, and one of the guys actually reaches up, pulls out his pistol, and you're thinking, what the hell? And he uses the butt of it to start smashing out the window. You're in the bar. You're full of brave people.
Oh, I found the cavalry. I'm thinking to myself.
Yeah, you're thinking that to yourself, and you turn around. It's like, I got this, and one of them is trying to get. He's got his matches out, and he's trying to light one of them already.
Just wait a bit.
Is
He
anyone
pulls the rag out, has a drink, puts the rag back in.
There.
from up top? Is anyone making a move for any of these cannons?
They were. Then you heard that voice yell out. You heard their shot yell ring out, and now they're all kind of. But they are not. They don't look like they're going to shoot the train. You heard them say they want the train.
Okay. Are we making are we making steady progress now off of the?
Well, Jet hammered the throttle, so you guys were almost at a stop, and it would have lurched when it started again. And yes, steam engines build up speed in a hurry.
How bad of a lurch for all of us standing
On the
and
roof?
laying
That are
around.
on the roof? Yeah.
I was gonna kind of blow through that, but seeing as how you said so,
No,
let's have
man.
nimbleness checks because that's the one I made him make before.
All right.
Everybody on the roof?
Oh no, wait, all of us. Nimbleness inside too. Come on.
Oh yeah, sure, okay. Everybody
I
make
wouldn't be
a
the
roll.
only
Am I
one that
not making you
dies.
guys roll enough? Is that what this is about?
That's right.
Nimbleness. Nimbleness.
I may have spent all my chips between these sessions on
Oh yeah.
increasing my dice numbers.
I just have
Yeah.
one blue chip. That's it. I might die. Nimbleness.
Yeah, Alice, you're walking back through the cowed people, and the train goes, and you don't.
No, I'm on
like-
top.
Oh, you're
I
on
said I was
top.
on
Okay.
top.
Yeah, she's up top.
She's
Canonically,
Forgot-
I was on top before it
Forgot
lurched.
where you got up there.
Oh
Yes.
wow.
I should really write this stuff down.
Not bad.
Anyway.
With nimbleness.
Yeah, you're up on top, and you just keep going.
Oh, but I rolled
You
like
say
crap.
that.
Can I say that
Success.
mine's good enough to catch?
Four's a success. Four's a success.
Yeah.
Where the
You are.
They won though.
Can mine be good enough to catch Baptiste?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm nowhere
Baptiste-
near you.
I
No,
would have
you-
come up the car in front of him. I feel like I don't know.
Baptiste, you. The problem with you is you react like an old man, but you have
Oh.
young man muscles, so you
Oh.
overreact and almost appear from a distance to almost leap voluntarily off of the train, and then you kind of catch yourself on that little rail, the water rail that they have along the sides.
All right, that's
You kinda-
badass.
You just got your
So just
Hot.
to make sure I understand this, I fire, I take out a big chunk of the leader, I
Yeah.
jump up, grab the side of the train while holding my rifle in one hand. None of this was a mistake.
no, it looks.
Alice seeing new eye candy Baptiste hanging on for dear life on the side of the train runs over to him.
With,
offers to help
great
him.
grace and nimbleness. Yes, it doesn't affect
I would
you
like
at all.
to
You
I would
just
like to
kinda
roll accept help.
And yeah, Baptiste, you're thinking, I pulled that off. They're going to believe I meant that. And Miss Alice grabs your wrist and starts to pull you back up on top of the train. Lucius inside, that hurt. The jar happened. You went
Sorry,
forward,
Sam.
and you would have been fine. You would have missed the table ahead of you by that much, but you had one of the Molotov cocktails in your hand.
To be fair,
So
I
the
also
glass
took
hit
a
the
sip.
table, your head hit the glass, boom. Oh. But no damage, just a hell of a bruise. You're gonna have a very interesting bruise right there.
I look at the martini. I better put this down.
Yeah, do not spill the drink. Hold my martini. That's a whole different thing than hold my beer.
Ellie did good too.
And yes, yeah, Ellie, because you're in that carriage area, it's fairly narrow. You just brace yourself, and nobody saw it anyway because they were all in their rooms listening.
Yeah.
And with that, the train starts to roll again. As you guys roll forward, those of you that are outside can see there is chaos in the ranks, such as they are. There's arguments breaking out over the guns. Some of them are trying to swing the guns towards the trestles. Other ones are starting to swing the guns towards the train. But as soon as they do, somebody else presses down on the gun and won't let them aim it at the engine in particular.
Well,
Alice is kind of trained on, like, if anybody goes to move towards one of these cannons, she's shooting them.
That's essentially what I'm waiting for too, up front.
So yeah, okay, yeah. So here's the picture in my head is up on the roof. Miss Alice is just walking forward, just and up to the shoulder. Baptiste now back up on top of the train, just
right beside her, same thing.
Yeah, and the two of you are just doing that slow motion walk up the train, just tracking different people. Jet, you're hanging out the window.
The thing I'm built to do.
Yeah.
Yep. Jet, you're hanging out the window of the engineer's hatch with your foot holding the throttle in place so he doesn't pull it back, maybe? This is only my view. You tell me. I'm getting
I'm also
creative
assuming he's not going to do it. And it's just like, I'm going to defer to you because I know you probably know what you're doing. If we're going to hit, say a curve, the kind of thing that would turn this over, then you can slow us down. But up until that point, and I just look at him, don't.
Yep. And he just
They
points
don't usually
at this little...
put 90-degree turns right in front of a bridge.
No. But he points at this little gauge, this little white gauge about this big around, and it goes all the way around, like from 0 to whatever, 200. And it's sort of at about 110 right now, and he just says, don't let it get in the red. And that's at about 180.
Is that PSI?
Maybe.
PSI gauge?
I don't know. I don't think 180 is high enough for that to be
now,
PSI.
if we let this burn hot enough, do you think we could get it up to 88 miles per hour?
Travel back through time.
It's not a DeLorean.
Back in paradise, just to drive me nuts.
There was a time machine train at the third movie, so
That's true. But this is not a DeLorean.
No, I think if we do that, we'll end up back in hell. So how about that?
Wrong train, but yeah.
God.
There has been kind of a train theme throughout this.
Yeah,
Anyway,
you think?
I don't know how that worked out.
And I hate all of them.
All of them, yes.
I don't like any of them.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just.
Yep, the two of you are just tracking as you drive by. Jet, you guys can't see each other, but Jet's hanging out the window doing the same thing inside. Lucius is got his bar full of now angry men waiting to hurl fire at people.
Brace yourself, gentlemen.
And Ellie, you're the only one who really hasn't. What are you doing?
Yeah, once everyone's kind of ducked down, I was gonna just go back to where we popped the window originally.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just gonna be looking out. I'm gonna have my pistol trained there, just keeping an eye out from inside the train.
Perfect. Nice. And
Anybody gets close.
you guys see as you're focusing on this incredible tense moment where you're passing through. As you start to leave the trestle, you realize how many of them there are. There's probably 150 soldiers in these trees on both sides of you, watching you go by. But none of them will shoulder a weapon. None of them are trying to stop the train. And there's that one loud voice. Yep.
I thought they don't want to hurt something on the train.
That's what you hear, that same loud voice yell out again. We need that damn train. And there's some other voices. What do you think we're going to do? What do you think? And you hear the big voice again say, well, get the next one. They all start to fade back in the trees as this posse travels through on this slowly increasing steam engine. And the steam comes off the train. billowing above and beside you. And you go through and there's more of them and more of them. And you see their horses and the remains of a camp. This looks to you, Baptiste, like probably a defeated, close to a division that probably got routed in a battle and ran. And they're now just trying to stay alive. They look as haggard as you did up until yesterday. And all of you notice this. They're starving. Their clothes are worn out. Their horses, you can see their ribs, the gears all ripped up and beat to shit. And they watch you as you drive past and just desperation on their faces.
So you let us get
as
by
we,
and then guilt us.
As we go, and so you said that there's like different little encampments and all that kind of stuff. Does there happen to be, and there might not be, but does there happen to be a tent that looks like it might be like munitions?
There is, it's not even a tent. There is, you can see the tents here and there, and one of the very few things they've done that's still up to military snuff is they've cleared an area, sandbagged it, and the munitions are inside that. So they're visible.
If from on top of the train as we go, and once we passed it, not while we're coming towards it, but once we're past it, Baptiste will try to take a bead on and fire off 2 quick shots at a powder keg in the middle of that munitions.
Okay, that's what you're doing. Anybody else as you drive through this? Thank you for the phrase I was looking for. Hallowed broken regiment.
Just
Ooh, that's good.
Isn't that good? Yeah.
Just trying to keep everyone steady, but I just like anybody like that sees it just glaring at the people outside, basically.
There is one guy in your cart, Lucius. It's the same guy that was trying to light it before. He's done. He's got it sitting between his knees now. The rag is absolutely soaked. He's on his 3rd match trying to get it. That fucker's trying to take my fucking train. I'll fucking kill them all. But he's hammered. He's having a really difficult time getting the match lit. But if he lights that in here, what are you doing?
I'm just gonna take that away. Give me that.
Give me a nimbleness.
Oh God. Please be nimble. Please be nimble. Jack be nimble. Jack be quick.
Your name's not Jack. You're up the creek. That doesn't quite rhyme, but.
Under deafness, I believe, right?
Yep. Or actually, nimbleness. It's right at the bottom. It's its own category.
Yeah, it's its own skill. It's the bottom left.
Bottom left column. Yeah. Forget all those individual skills. I just like using the big category ones.
Oh my God.
Wow.
You're fucking kidding me.
Damn.
He gets it lit. Like you're like, give me that. And he's like, no. And the spark goes off and you see the cloth light. But he also lights his own hair on fire in the process. And he drops.
Nope, he doesn't. I'm going to
And
throw
you
a
catch
white
it.
chip. Oh God.
You beat him. You beat him by 1.
Yep.
Oh God.
By 1. Yeah. And he's beating at the side of it because his hair's on fire now. And he's like, shit, 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 shit. And one of his other buddies is going, stop, drop, and roll. But as he does, he's taking the 2 drinks off the table so the guy doesn't spill them. Like he's not helping. He's just telling him what to do. And yeah, you now have this burning Molotov cocktail in your hand.
I guess I just chuck it out.
Out the window?
I don't really have it's burning, right?
Yep.
Or the simple solution is just take off the thing and
You pull out the rag and that's not going out, but that you could probably throw out the window.
yeah.
Without, it's not going to set off a bomb, right? So yeah, there's this little burning cloth goes out the window, not inciting any return fire at all. And you're standing there with a bottle of Everclear in your hand.
Well, I thought it was Scotch, right? Perfect, good Scotch.
Well, Everclear is like 90% alcohol. So
Good point.
burns
So,
better.
This is important.
Yep. I love it when he says that sentence.
Well, because it is, and
Yep.
it's like, we see these people, and in this passing moment, we realize that it is desperation and
Yep.
and they haven't fired on us.
Nope.
And so, and so in that moment, I look at the conductor and I was like, "Where's the food cart? Where do you keep all your storage? Like, where's something?"
There's the dining cart
Sure. And I
That's
just,
towards the back.
oh God, Lord, what kind of run do I have to make to get back there?
It's a haul. I mean, it would be, just again to keep it out of the smoke, it would probably be the last train or the last car on this train short of the caboose.
All right. Well, I'm sprinting like as fast as possible to the back of the train.
Oh wow. Oh, my cinematic mind. Here's the shot. The camera is here. Jet is
Yep.
here running.
And
The
it's
train
just
is going
still...
exactly the same speed in the opposite direction. So
Well,
he stays in one spot
relativistically, you're in
while the train
place.
and the
2 ships in the night.
and give me a nimbleness while the rest of you go ahead, Baptiste, and take that shot. This seems like a really
Sure
good
thing.
time for a large explosion to happen.
Yeah, let's see. I mean, if it lands.
It's Baptiste.
I'm not that great with rifles, actually.
Hey. That's a success, right?
It's- I'm not that
Yeah,
great with
okay.
rifles, actually.
Yeah, Jet, you are flying. I mean, because it's going the other way underneath you, so you're actually having to run to keep up, and you realize you're going way too fast, and it's going to be extremely difficult to stop by the time you get to the end, and you start to try and figure out how you're going to slow down, and you're thinking to yourself, "Oop, here we go. I'm going to go right off the back. Oh, shit." And then there is quick interruption. Lucius, you throw that little rag out the window and you watch it fall past out of sight. And then there's
Lucius, what did you do?
massive explosion. The whole train rocks. Jet, you are thrown up into the air. And now you're floating, like flying above it, falling back towards the thing, and you pancake. Like splat on top of the train.
Happy
And
Pancake Day.
skid along, but it manages to at least slow you down. And you come to a stop with your hand up against that little bit. Somehow you slid across the gap and you're on top of the caboose against that little box that's up on the top. That's the only thing that kept you from sliding off.
Oh, I ended up on top of the train.
Yep.
Okay.
I assumed you went back up on top of the train to run the length. That would be way faster than going through it.
Well, if I had that moment of forethought, then yes.
Well, especially when I said the train was going underneath you and you were running.
Sorry, I was picturing windows whizzing by, but you just see me
Okay.
going through.
Was everybody picturing windows but me? It
I
just
thought it
works
was
inside too. You
I
come
mean-
slamming
I mean,
to a
it
halt
works
against
either
the
way.
back of the dining
Yeah.
car.
Tomato, potato.
Wait, if he's in the dining cart and I'm towards the back, do I just like see him go flying?
Well, in this
No,
case,
no,
this
no.
has to be a slight retcon. You go running past Ellie, you go running through the bar past Lucius, and out and then into the back room, and that's when everything lifts and you skid down the hallway of the dining car, so past all the legs of the tables and smash into the back door. Leap to your feet.
Okay. Did I take any damage from that?
Now that you
Sure.
asked.
Take some wind.
How? Well, that's important. So how much do you want me to take?
Well, you asked. Let's do this. 1d6, because it's only one.
The wind
equivalent.
is gonna...
Oh my god!
That's 14 wind because you asked.
Oh my god.
So if I have 14 wind, am I
Yep.
knocked out?
You are just functional. Like you can't even stand up. You are on the brink of unconsciousness just from the shock.
But I bet you could pull the pin.
Am I with him in the room? Or...
You're one car, like you just saw him tear past you. So yeah, let's go back while he's catching his breath, quite literally. Miss Ellie, there goes Jet.
Yeah, because I'm towards the back because Alice went to the front and I went to the
Yep.
back, so I'm close to there. So
And
as
then the
soon
bar
as I-
car was Lucius, and then the dining car is right at the end. So
Yeah, so I'm gonna like go sprinting after Jet.
turn after. So then
but-
Lucius, what you see is Jet, and then Sally.
Then I'm gonna go. Okay, hold tight, gentlemen. To make sure this guy doesn't do anything stupid, and I just zoom.
And you look back just to make sure that they're following instructions, and they're all now sitting around with the bottle of Everclear, and they won't give it back to the bartender. They're playing keep away, drinking and playing keep away. All of this time, the train is accelerating and accelerating and accelerating up the track. So the two of you burst into the dining car to see Jet sprawled in the back, kind of.
Can I do a medicine check on him quickly?
Oh, you got to get to him, but yeah.
Okay, what do I do?
Yeah, I'm gonna kneel next to him and just, are you okay?
Food.
What happened out here? I really want to know.
Yep. Oh, yeah, let's quickly do back to that. Baptiste, man, that round just drops in. You swear you saw it take the bung off one of the barrels? Like, it was that good? That shot just, which let the air in, which means when that spark went off, it went off like a vertical cannon. Just, and there's now kegs of exploding gunpowder flying through the air in all directions, just explosion after explosion after explosion, sandbags flying every which way, men running, trained men. You can tell they're crouched, they're zigzagging, they're doing the right things to stay alive. But it is for all the world like a war zone in these trees, because you're in the trees. So as they're exploding, they're taking out trees and turning them into shrapnel. And the two of you are on top of this train watching mayhem.
I get out a marshmallow. No, I just lay there and kind of in awe. Like, I knew what I wanted to have happen, but then it happened so spectacularly. It's just kind of like, all right.
Alice is like,
Oh, well,
I
that's
imagine,
done. Now there's 30-year-old Baptiste right there. He's Matthew McConaughey.
I imagine Alice kind of is like, and like lowers her rifle.
Yeah, just lower the rifle, kind of unchamber the round. Like, that's not necessary anymore. Well, Miss Alice, you are on top of a train with nobody else around but rock solid Baptiste.
Look. Can I roll a check to see if
First of all,
Alice
consent is important.
can I roll a check to
We had
see
an
if
entire
Alice
episode of
can
that.
keep her composure?
This was to be completely honest. This was just I can make them cry pretty much anytime I want, but it takes extra effort to make one of them blush. So that was what that was all about. But yeah, you can make a roll for Alice.
See, I was more thinking Baptiste had his back to the explosion, then he turns around and he's just like, just nothing but naked on the back end. Like, he got all his clothes on the front.
He turns around and like
Blew his clothes off.
like, well, because if she's like standing in front of the train, you know, there's a dress just in his face where it's like blown out.
And anyway, we'll leave that at that. Back in the dining
No,
room.
she keeps her cool. It's fine.
Yeah.
Barely.
I just asked because she's got a thing for men in control with guns. You had a bit of a kerfluffle over the sheriff as well. So
Yes. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's a thing. Don't worry about it.
It's all about your character development. That's what I'm doing this for.
Don't worry about it.
Back in the dining car.
Yeah, I'm just kneeled next to Jet, and I'm like, even though I know that Lucius is far more capable, I'm just like grabbing his arms and like looking. It's like, is anything bleeding? Is anything hurt?
Food. Need food. And it's just like, you see me crawling toward it. I assume there's like a crate of like something that is just like dried meat or something.
Yeah, there's all kinds of, they're cooking all the time. So there's lots of food and food smells right in this area.
What about the food? Are you?
And I just point to the back door because I'm assuming I'm like not really capable of like being coherent.
Yeah.
So I'm just like trying to crawl over toward it and point, and I'm just like,
I look at Lucius. Did he hit his head?
I will do. Yeah.
What's a
Several times.
concussion?
Okay, can I quickly try to get rid of
There's
the
3 of you.
wind on him?
Okay.
Well, I'm
So?
gonna. I can tell
Okay.
that he's like gesturing to the crate, so I'm gonna kind of grab one and pull it towards him.
And I'm like, I try to grab it, but I'm assuming I can't move it. And
You're
I'm
too
just
wobbly.
like,
You kind of
just
stop
patting
him at the door.
patting on your hand, just like,
Out the door.
yeah. Okay, I'm gonna say I can talk.
First
bro.
word
Yeah.
sounds like
That throw outdoor food, please.
I'm gonna give him a look like you're nuts, but I'll do it.
Yep. You kind of have to throw it out the windows because the right behind you is the caboose, right? So if you throw it out there, it's just going to get run over. But yeah, you guys, it's once you get into it, it's easy enough. And the cook is like, oh, whatever, I don't care. It's not my food. And you guys chuck a fair amount of food out the windows to both sides. And probably from where you are, you're probably the only 3 that see it. Yeah, Jet, you kind of slouch down. You can just barely see out the windows. The other 2 of you look, and they come out of the trees like undead on the living. They're picking this food up out of the dirt. They're not even dusting it off. They're just shoving it in their mouths. They're fighting over it.
Can we
The
see this
train
from
just
up
pulls
top?
away, pulls away. From where you guys are, you would need to give me a scrutinizing check. There's a whole train between you and them.
that's fair.
I'll just help out with throw
Oh.
the food out.
I'm gonna say I feel like the only thing Alice sees is right now is Baptiste,
Mm-hmm.
so she probably doesn't see it anyway.
Yep, and Baptiste, you definitely see their fear of you is being overcome by something, and you sort of look towards the back of the train and you see them scrabbling around.
Can I tell what it is that they're scrabbling for?
You can see that there's stuff coming out the windows of the last cart, or the last car of the train. Somebody's throwing them something and they're fighting over it.
Yeah, if I can't make out what it is, then I just sort of observe.
Yeah. And as you observe, that explosion drove them away from you guys and towards the back, towards whatever this new disturbance is at the back of the train. And the train's got quite a head of speed up now, and it's starting to really move. And you feel it slow down just a little bit, and for a second you're sort of, what the hell? And it's just coming back to a normal pace, a reasonable pace.
Okay.
And over the course of the next couple minutes, you all climb back inside, find your way around, and the braver of the other passengers are peeking out of doors and peeking out from underneath tables. And
Yeah,
underneath their
Alice goes
seats.
back and tells them all that the danger is past and they can get up.
As you walk in, they start to applaud.
When Alice walks in,
Alice and Baptiste, when the 2 of you walk back in and you start saying, everything's okay, everything's all right, they start to applaud.
Alice just kind of looks at Baptiste like,
Yeah, and looks back at Miss Alice and sort of, I'm guessing Miss Alice might see sort of it on his face, and he kind of goes into carnival barker mode and starts saying, we have prevailed, we have fought them off, and is like spinning his 6-shooters and putting
okay.
them back
So
around.
when Alice kind of didn't want, because Alice is so used to, like, if she were to do that, the older Baptiste would be like, what the fuck are you doing? But she's like, yes, and she starts clapping Baptiste on, and she's like holding her rifle in the air and singing victory songs.
And like any true good hero and celebratory moment at the very end of it, while they're all clapping, Baptiste spins around, grabs Miss Alice by the waist, dips her backwards, and gives her a big old kiss. and
Oh
comes
my
back up.
god!
I saw that one coming.
All right,
I was
hold
waiting
on.
for
I
And
gotta
the three
make.
of you
I was
walk
Wait.
in to see. Are you going to resist? Are you really going to resist
No,
this,
I
Miss
just I
Alice?
don't feel like she's gonna pass out.
Okay, that I'll let you roll for. The
I
three
imagine
of you
come
walk
in
in
like-
just in time to see cheering. Baptiste swirls Miss Alice down, plants one on her, and Miss Alice, what would you like to roll to maintain your?
Oh man, I wish I could take Miss Alice's camera.
Careful now.
I thought he was gonna say place.
Well, I feel like we walk in with like
No,
dead
oh no,
thing
I
and,
just
like,
want to take a
between
picture.
us, half conscious, and just
Well,
walk into that.
here's the thing too. I don't
Oh,
walk
Miss
in
Alice,
there
no,
unless
sorry.
someone drags me in there because I fell asleep.
Okay,
I was out. I said those last two words, and then my hat was over
you're
my
okay.
face.
So
and
the
I was-
the two of you saw Jet's asleep in the dining car.
Would that be
Just-
like a Mien or a Guts or Spirit or something?
You
Hopefully
tell
not
me.
Guts. That's
How
what
are
you
you-
roll
how-
when you're
what-
dying.
What are you going to stay conscious? Are you trying to think your way out of this? Are you trying to have faith in your upbringing? What do you?
If it ain't vigor or performing,
I'll be honest, I got nothing. I feel like
Okay, give me a
animal wrangling.
give me an image.
That's later this evening, young man.
Oh,
We do that in the late show. Give me an overall
Oh god,
That's
okay.
Poison Paradise After Dark.
after dark.
That's a 5.
Okay. Had you rolled really well, I was going to have you return the favor with vigor, but you did not. So you don't quite faint. But if he hadn't been holding you up, you might have been not fainted on the floor because your knees have gone all a jello-y.
Okay, well then Alice is just like he probably feels her go slack and like
And the audience goes wild. Woo! Yeah! Woo!
And
And-
I am super
just gonna-
red on the camera right now.
it's amazing.
She swoons. That is exactly
Yeah.
what she does.
Oh, she swoons. And she probably feels her like he feels her kind of like and then catches her, and then once he catches her, she kind of like comes back. And she as she goes to stand up, she winks at him really quick, and she turns like towards everybody that's clapping and cheering, and takes his hand and bows with him.
Yes, theater bow. I was gonna say the same thing. It's awesome.
And with that, we will draw today's adventure to a close. As Baptiste and Miss Alice take a bow, while Miss Ellie and Lucius try to figure out what the hell they just witnessed,
Didn't see that one.
and while Jet has a snooze next to a bowl of chili.
I hate trains.
Well,
I mean, this
And
train's not that bad.
Just before we wrap this, I want to mention, because I like to sometimes let people behind my screen a little bit. There was a thing I was going to try tonight that I've never tried in Deadlands before, and it didn't happen because you guys figured out a way around it. So I'm going to try it some
It's
other
gonna
time.
kill a character.
Yeah, right.
Well, I've done that twice already. He's sitting over there in the corner.
That to himself. Don't even.
No, again, unbelievable session. Thank you all. And this is the bit where I go around the table and ask everybody what else they do when they're not doing this. Let's do this backwards this week. We'll start in the far corner because I can see him getting comfortable. Like, oh, I get to wait. Oh, I don't have to go yet. You've actually got something to tell us about this week, Lessamax. So what are you doing?
Yes. Oh, if you remember last episode, Lucius had been writing Lucius's Fables. So I have collaborated with our dear friend Jacob, also known as Richard, if you And I have finished part of the fable that you can actually access on his blog, Scarred Adventurer. So
Links to which can be found at our Discord channel.
I'm sure somebody will put it in chat too.
Now that you mention it, I could.
Yeah, I
probably do
did.
that.
I did Lucas because that has the
That's also
link
that's
to
got
the-
it. Yeah, that's
There it
perfect.
is.
There
There
you
it
go.
is.
You beat Fritchard. I'm not sure who Fitchard is, but there we go. Thank
She
you.
got there.
Thank you, Karis.
she got there. It's fine.
It has been updated to
Yep,
Lucas.
it's
Richard
Lucas
is no
now.
longer a member of this
It no longer
academy.
exists. This is
No, he exists. He just don't work here no more.
you don't worry.
We just decided to go different directions.
Yes, we did. We did that. Speaking of hard work, were we? We are now. The hardest working man that I know is sitting there on the bottom row. You have had a hell of a week. I usually talk about what we're going to be doing, but why don't you tell us first of all what you did and then what that's done?
So I had the undeniable privilege of playing in a wonderful little one-shot with Dingo Doodles, Felix, and Joe Cat this past weekend.
lucky.
Hearts of Darkness. It is on our YouTube at Mercenaries of Mischief on YouTube. So go check that out. That just came out earlier today. So it was wonderful. We played all evil characters. I got to play a necromancer. It was a lot of fun. And while you're at our YouTube, please drop a subscribe and go check out all our previous episodes of Poison Paradise, Too Many Warlocks, Mercenaries of Mischief, and like so many one-shots that I'm just so tickled that we have a backlog of because they're
Yep.
so great. These thieving bastards, I'll say it every time.
I knew it.
Every time. So yeah, go check that out. It's a lot of
I'd also like to mention that Hearts of Darkness features not only Joe Cat and Dingo Doodles, but also my good friend and fellow timeless and incorporeal being, Felix. He is the creator of vast universes that you may know of through the Fools Go campaign, and it's his first time playing live on a stream. It was fantastic.
And speaking of Felix,
Nice.
Felix is going to be appearing in my table flip on March 21st. It'll be me. It's going to, so far, it is Felix and Lily Tran, who is just a little nerd on the Twitter. And
That is her handle.
I was going to say
That
that's
is not
her
just a
actual name.
criticism.
That's not just something
oh,
that
that's,
name
yeah,
you called her.
it's at just a little nerd.
It's not a mean comment.
Um,
I think we're all a
and-
little nerd here.
and it's going to be her and Felix and Kevin and Sean. So it's going to be a shit show. Maybe adding potentially one more. Don't know yet.
In a steampunk world on
Yeah,
an airship.
Steampunk Clockwork. We have a game on the channel here if you want to find out more about that game. But I will be running that my first time DMing on March 21st.
With
I'm a
a
little
whole bunch of
terrified.
DMs on the other side of the table just to make
Yep.
your life wonderful.
Yep.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really going to enjoy that.
It's horrifying. love it.
Next, down at the far end. Oh, man, Hannah. Again tonight, we beat the shit out of your character. When am I going to stop? I'm not. Your character's too much fun.
She didn't get run over by this train,
Yep.
so this is a good day.
Baby
Yet,
steps.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
she is now, I hope you realize, she now has a fear of trains.
Train phobic. Absolutely.
She is train phobic because she's been nearly eaten on a train. She's been run over by a train. She watched a train send her friends into hell. Trains are bad. Trains are a
Yep.
bad time.
Yeah, I can see this. By the time we get much further, Ellie's going to be walking to California.
Oh,
See,
Me and
if
the
we
horse.
don't fight a transformer, I'm gonna be super upset. I will be. So
Damn it.
I got
Yeah,
a
we
week.
will.
I've
You
got a
can't
week.
let
I
life's
can-
little setbacks turn you into a Luddite. You know, technology is the way of the future.
That would be cider-odromophobia, the fear
Thank
of
you.
trains, railroads, or traveling on trains.
Thank you. I
That's-
was
There you
going to
go.
look that up, and now I don't have. Well, I'm going to have to again because I already forgot it.
Thank you, Ryan. That's what
you.
Ellie has.
Oh,
And
that's not in focus at all. That was a horrible. I just held the phone up to the camera and that's out of focus.
It doesn't matter. It's a vast collection of letters, and it's very interesting.
And Ellie's got it.
vast
Yes.
collections of letters that's fairly interesting. That I'll take that as a segue. Ryan.
Oh boy. Well, you can find us on Roll for Initiative, R4I Vlog, and we're on YouTube and all of that kind of stuff. Dawn and I just did youtube.com/Roll for Initiative. We just did one of the most fun videos that we've had in a long time, where we kill your character, your precious little player character that no one can ever touch. We're gonna frickin' murder them. So check that video out. I think you'll really enjoy it.
Clickbait.
We had a
Can-
blast.
Can we
We
talk
had a
about
blast filming that one.
I'll
Can we-
bet.
Can we
It was a
talk
very good
about
video.
the difference between how Dawn pitched that the other night, like last night, and how he pitched it? Dawn was like, "We're gonna show you different ways that you can like let your character go so they can move on." He's like, "We're gonna kill him."
Hey, look, either way, just kill the motherfucker. All right,
Just
heroes live
take him
forever,
out.
but legends never die.
See, there we go. This is only the third
If you're-
or 200.
if you're at
Well,
the
now
point
we
in your
know where
life
Kashano's soul
where
went.
you're
It's
taking
stuck in
life
Lenny's-
advice from Marty, you need to
of
question your
Marty.
decision.
Yeah. Oh, man.
When you have had as much life experience as me, you can talk.
Yeah.
The multi-life experience.
The multi-dimensional
Some of them
life
at the same
experience.
time. I am lucky enough to be busy here Mondays and Tuesdays. Monday, I get to play the magnificent Guy Bontemps, the man who should not be alive anymore, multiple times over, but still is because his party is all awesome. And then Tuesday, I get to drag these guys through the horror of the little dark part in the back of my mind. And then Wednesday, I get to do the same thing to another group of people, but we don't stream that one. And then Thursday, me and 3 of my other friends get to play Iron Sworn Co-op Edition, which is a game with 4 players and no DM. We're making it all up on the fly. That's over at 3020 Gaming.
That's awesome.
Karis has beat me to it already in the notes or in the comments field. Pop in and see that. But absolutely, positively, go to our YouTube channel to get caught up on all the stuff if you haven't yet. And other than that, oh yes, our monies. We're collecting money for our trip to Gen Con, where we're hoping to offset some of the cost of travel and particularly of food when we're getting there. And also we are we're making money and giving it to Extra Life, which is a charity for sick kids. So you can't hurt to help us with that. Those are all down in the chat bar below. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Hannah. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Sky. Thank you, Lessamax. Thank you, viewers. Thank you, Marty. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, everybody else. This is so much fun. Shoot you next time. Bye.
Plowed through the mall and she reached Abe's side, held out her hand and said, "Let's ride." Candace and Dave were fighting zombies on a jet black hill at the end of days. Shut up in their wedding now, they're kind of dreading the zombie apocalypse on their wedding day.